How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Excuses on VTWProductions.com and YouTube.com, the favorite show hosts. Alright, still.
Fenarian.
And Volatile, and we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week that was. But before we get into that, we would like to let you know that you can send us emails. You really can. You can send us emails at VTW@gmail.com. And we need you to. Come on. There's so many weeks where there isn't enough to talk about. Just supply us with something.
The games industry is being very boring lately.
Any kind of email style shitpost you can come up with will be fine. But yeah, if you would like to get involved with the show, you can do that, or you can follow us on the Twitter at NoExcusesVTW, or you can join us in the Discord server. You can most easily get to that by going to the link in the description underneath the show archive, or you can go to VTWProductions.com and click on the show logo on any of the recent show posts, which will take you to the Discord server, which is honestly where we spend the majority of our time. Like, I'm pretty much plugged into it every day of the week.
Yes.
And currently, Ari is overloading the politics channel with stuff that he's cribbing from the Donald. So,
and the farms and every other site you're not supposed to go to that'll get you flagged in New Zealand.
Yeah, please don't, if at all possible, get me flagged by the police. I do live in a police state. I do have to be careful about these things. But,
Democracy? What's that?
I don't know. I think democracy is that where you select the leader of your country based on what is between their legs. That's democracy. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that's getting places. So, on the stream today, I'm playing a bit of Neverwinter. I got...
The MMO?
Yeah, that one. Largely because I just wanted to see what they've actually done with it. They've made some changes lately, like they don't know... Yeah, I can't words today. You no longer have the over-specialized classes. Now it's just, Warlock in this case, or Mage, or Cleric instead of, was it Devotion Cleric or something?
All time.
What's that?
Warlock is like the worst class of all time in D&D.
Yeah, so for Neverwinter, it seems like it's Warlock on paper, and everything's kind of eldritch and spooky, but it's closer to Necromancer. I mean, you still have Eldritch Blast. That's all you need to be a Warlock, isn't it?
Pale Master is an offshoot of Wizardry, isn't it?
Yeah, it's was a Prestige class for Necromancer specialization. So,
it was also really bad. It was like a class that you would only ever take for the flavor purposes.
I mean, it gave you that hand that could instantly kill things if you touch it. But
yeah,
everything...
if you could touch it under 3.5 rules, 3.5 rule touch attacks, everybody loves those, right?
Everyone loves those. They totally work fine. I'm trying to remember actually how this class works, by the way. So, they did a major overhaul, so they took the over-specialization of the classes away so they could actually do more with each class.
So that they become a bland grey paste.
Yeah, to a degree.
Like, realistically, D&D was designed for classes to be, for the most part, that it would not be a problem if they were cripplingly over-specialized, because there was a DM to play around that.
Yeah. So as it is, they just kind of play like a lot of standard MMO classes.
Honestly, being like a standard MMO seems to be pretty much the worst thing you can do these days.
Yeah. I mean, they've added a lot of content, but it is Perfect World, so as you just saw, it still drops locked chests, which you need to pay to open.
So, I would say, honestly, that among the many, many things that put me off Terra, the lockboxes was very high on the list.
It is a constant nag for your money. It's nothing more than that. It's just a constant need to... Like, you've got this thing in your inventory, and you want to know what's in it. And forking over $5 to open a few of them isn't all that bad, right? Yeah, no, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and I don't know what you even get from them. It was probably like Ellen Thywit adjusters or something.
If they actually released that, they'd just make bank.
Oh, they did, and they did make bank. It was that they released a potion that you could buy. I think you could buy it. That basically allowed you to adjust how chubby your Ellen's thighs were, essentially.
See, if you ever needed a JPEG to say why we don't play Terra anymore. That's it. Need an adult.
Definitely need an
Definitely
adult.
need an adult.
Though I don't understand what makes Ellen so popular, and I don't really want to understand what makes Ellen so popular with the bulk of the fan base, because like if you inflate a child up to fully grown human size, it is terrifying.
It is horrifying.
So why do they find it so appealing?
Yeah, that's just one of those things I'm happy
not knowing the answer to.
Exactly. So, yeah, Perfect World, like, they keep releasing content for Neverwinter. They did that patch a while ago where they added Minsk in. Minsk is the best D&D character of all time, by the way. No argument. Except possibly Deacon.
Isn't he a ranger or something?
On paper.
But he looks like a barbarian.
He acts like a barbarian.
Does he have any levels in barbarian?
I think he does, actually.
As far as I can tell, he's a hamster tamer.
He is a hamster tamer also.
Space hamster tamer.
Miniature giant space hamster. So I actually went through the tutorial and I was pleasantly surprised to find Minsk just kind of standing around there now. And he's also the only character in that who's just randomly standing around who has a random bellowy voice line. So he is just standing around talking with Boo loudly.
Well,
Also,
he doesn't have volume control.
Yeah, he's also standing with Jalaxel, who is a character who I think they want us to care about. Because it's a name that keeps popping up, and I'm not sure why.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
What story does Minsk debut in? Is he originally from Baldur's Gate?
Yes. He's originally trying to save his charge Dinah here, but I think she comes down with a bad case of the dead at the end of Baldur's Gate 1.
Yeah, I hear that's going around.
Yeah. A lot of quests around here. So yeah,
How much did you play of Neverwinter in the past?
Neverwinter, I played up to about level 24, I believe, with my cleric.
Or what's the cap? I don't know.
I think it's up to 70 now.
Well, that's not very D&D.
No, it's not. You can level skip up to 60 with money because, Perfect World. Yeah,
there must be a market for continually releasing more and more of these, these grind fest money farms. But I'm not sure why. Like, surely you could settle down with one and be perfectly happy.
I guess. I mean, if you're willing to invest in a character, you're not going to want to leave it. That's that sunk cost fallacy.
Isn't it why I've never bothered with the more expensive subscription for Final Fantasy XIV?
You don't need another character.
All this time into leveling all these different classes and professions and jobs and things on this character. Why would I need another character slot? You must be joking.
Exactly. Unless you want to go back and redo the story, but you don't even need another character slot to do that anymore.
No, you can just replay it. No problem.
Yep, it's just right there.
I get there probably are people who just enjoy the process of leveling up.
I guess. This is probably not the best game to be playing while doing this show live, but, never mind, whatever. It's a little bit more actiony than your standard push-button MMO, but not by much.
Yeah, that came out in that phase where they were all trying to be more actiony than their neighbor, didn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of the time, the actiony bit was more just a veneer than anything else.
Yeah, like I feel like Terra did actual action more or less, but I haven't come to a decision on whether Black Desert has or not.
It does. I think it does. There's a lot in that game, but there's also a lot of grind.
The reason why, it's super flashy and I like it. I like the way it looks and I like the way the combat plays, but everything else about it is obtuse and it doesn't pay off, is what I felt.
Oh yeah, it does an absolute rubbish job of explaining things too.
Yeah, well, even so, like I could just look up guides online if I wanted to play it, but ultimately you want to get somewhere. It's contrary to the adage. It's not just about the journey. So I always want to be going somewhere. I want to be able to wind up somewhere cool. But from all accounts, where you wind up in Black Desert, if you play it long enough, is just getting ganked by everyone.
Yeah, once you
Without
actually
any
go out
ability
into
to repel them.
once you go into the PvP zones, that's it.
Yeah, and that's obligatory. You can't avoid them.
Yep. And let's not get started on the absolute investment you need if you want to do sea-based content. Which is also very jank, by the way. Let me see. Look at this. Must have enchanted key to open it. What actually surprised me is Perfect World is slowly starting to put more content into Champions Online. I like that game.
Why?
It's a good game, but they've missed their opportunity. Honestly,
Champions Online feels even more than City of Heroes did. Champions Online feels to me like off-brand Lego.
Yeah.
You can still build a ton of cool things with it, but ultimately you can still see that it's off-brand Lego.
The graphic style really does not help on that end of things.
Yeah, the graphic style makes it more like off-brand Duplo.
Yeah. Look at this. Just a random quest reward bag, and how you look at that, a voucher to buy more space bucks. Yay.
I guess that the space is still ruled by capitalism.
Space.
What will Tim Curry do?
Yeah, he goes out into space and finds that there's just like, oh no, they're selling things here.
Yeah, there is commerce happening.
Hey there, partner. Your Soviet-Russian escape pod into space seems to be running out of fuel. You want to buy some from the Trucker Alien gas stop up the street? They got it real cheap right now.
I would totally go to the Trucker Alien gas stop.
I'm having a Joe Biden moment right now.
If you put the Redneck Rampage CD in the drive as an audio CD, there was a song about it being a truck stop for alien truckers.
So yeah, anyway, let's jump into my week, which didn't really happen. Unfortunately, I had some suspicious transactions turn up on my bank statement, so I spent a good chunk of my week going back through everything.
And were they suspicious or were you forgetful?
No, they were suspicious, but thankfully those were the only ones.
So what, somebody got your credit card number or something?
Yep. So, yeah, there's that whole process once that happens of, first of all, making sure that's kind of the only transactions that happen, and then figuring out where you went wrong.
Well, and canceling your card.
Well,
so
yeah, there's also
can't keep
that.
using it.
That goes without saying.
That is the most important step. My PS4 is making noise at me.
It just beeped.
Yeah, it did.
Why you beep? Incidentally, the PS4, the PlayStation Plus game is another copy of Shadow of the Colossus.
Well, I don't even have one copy of Shadow of the Colossus.
Really? I've got about 6 by this point.
No, I've never purchased it.
I mean, I've purchased it once.
I got the remaster and played the original. I can't remember if I bought it or not.
Well, it's free now on PlayStation Plus, so go. It's a very good game. I still have no idea how I ended up with 6 copies.
I think that's just you being you, Fern. You do you, Fern.
I see free games. I must claim free games, even if I already have said free games.
I hesitated to claim The Sim.
I claimed it.
I claimed it because it was there to claim, but I didn't feel good about it. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of free games that I just will never ever play because they're...
I definitely felt shame.
Yeah.
I have no intention of playing it, but I still felt shame because now I own it.
And it's there now. It's on your account, and it will forever tarnish it. Also, I'm lagging. Something horrible in this game. That's making things interesting.
Yep. I'm scared to go through my purchase collection and see what PS Plus has dumped in there over like 5 years I've had it.
Oh, that's okay. The other free game is Sonic Forces.
Yeah. Burly Men at Sea.
Yeah, I think I got that on mine.
Oh, right.
Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition.
Oh, yeah, that was a giveaway at some point, wasn't it?
Was that game any good? I don't even remember. I know it didn't sell any copies.
I got Fez from PS Plus at some point.
I think I've got
Good
2
old
or 3
Phil
copies of
Fish.
Fez at this point.
Phil Fish is like his name is synonymous with that picture of him with his lips sort of curled.
Yeah, he's the ultimate indie douchebag.
Yeah, that went insane.
Yeah.
Implying he went anywhere.
Implying he was sane in the first place.
He embraced his wackadoodleness.
He threw a dummy spit because someone was mean to him, so he wouldn't make Fez 2.
You don't hear much from him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, normally these people, like Zoe Quinn still infests the gaming space.
Sadly.
You know, despite being a murderer.
Well, let's not get into that one, shall we?
No, she killed a guy. No, I want to make that abundantly clear to the people. She killed a dude.
May not be able to prove it in a court of law, but she was probably responsible, yeah.
Oh, no. See, that was what I was hoping to avoid. But anyway. So yeah, my week in gaming has been very limited. I did spend a bit of time stuck by the side of the road at one point, so I downloaded Mario Kart World Tour.
Is that the microtransaction engine?
Yes.
Why would you do that? Why would you pretend to be interested in giving them lots of money?
Partly to get their hopes up and then crush them when I buy nothing.
You had better buy nothing.
I'm not going to buy anything.
That's sort of like a wide-eyed, semi-innocent company getting involved in the filthiest of dealings.
Yep, and in this case, it's gotcha.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like an elementary schooler taking up the position of drug kingpin for their local area. It's not good for anybody, man.
So, yeah, a lot of the characters, you get 3 different customization options when you pick a race. You get your driver, you get your kart, and you get the sail, or the hang glider. Depending on what you actually equip will determine what score you get at the end of the race. So if you want to get, your full 5 stars on a race, you need to be able to have the full multiplier. Plus, have invested some time in leveling up each item.
Are you trying to tell me that success is behind a paywall?
It potentially is, yes.
You shouldn't play this video game, dude.
Nope. You really shouldn't. It's not a good game, honestly. Like, it is Mario Kart, and it's Mario Kart ported to a portable device.
Is Mario Kart porn? What are you doing, Fern?
I said port. Although, internet, so that probably does exist.
I don't doubt it at all.
What gets me is the way they've had to make it work. Basically, you're accelerating at full clip all the time. And you basically drag your finger across in a certain spot to drift, or outside that certain spot to turn. You poke to fire your weapon, or you poke the drift button in order to hop. That's how the driving works.
It sounds incredibly obtuse.
Yeah, it's not bad once you get used to it. But I would much rather play it with a.
It doesn't sound like it would feel like a driving game though.
No, it's not.
It sounds like an endless runner.
It honestly kind of does feel like an endless runner. But all of the drivers, like, there's no non-Mario characters. So in order to fill out the roster of, I think they're up to about 50 now, is various Mario characters wearing different hats.
There's Birdo in it.
There are 2 Birdos.
There are 2 Birdos? One Birdo wasn't enough?
There is Birdo and there is Blue Birdo. I still don't think anyone knows what the hell...
Birdos.
Yeah, nobody knows what the hell Birdo is supposed to be at this point. It's just kind of there. Came from a game that wasn't even a Mario game.
In which case, I expect that it will be appropriated as an LGBT icon any day.
Oh, they did that.
That happened a few years ago.
Yeah, that's been a thing.
Yeah, that's already happened.
I don't follow the Mario lore.
But what is she? I don't know. Some sort of vacuum cleaner dinosaur? I don't know. Who lays eggs through their face, by the way?
Yoshi does.
Yoshi does not.
Yoshi
Birdo does.
shoots eggs. Yeah, Birdo does. Yoshi eats stuff with his face and then poops it out and then eats that.
Yeah. Which is equally, possibly even more so weird. Let's not think about Mario too much, shall we? It's a very strange universe.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you just can't afford to look too closely at.
Yeah. Like, honestly, you think at this point the Peach would have figured out some defense, but honestly, I think she just goes with Bowser these days because she's bored.
She needs to build a wall and keep out all the Goombas.
She could do that, or she could sit around and eat cake all day.
She sounds like a horrible person, TBH. Like, it doesn't sound like she's ever done any ruling to speak of, any kind of governance. And
No.
she spends all her time getting Mario to chase after her, but Mario gets absolutely nothing out of it.
He gets cake.
I'm not convinced he even gets cake all the time. I'm pretty sure there's a limit on cake.
There was that one time that Bowser used cake to kidnap her. Yes, that did happen.
As her video game shows, her superpowers are literally just being a woman.
Is it like she could cry or something, couldn't she?
She basically had a game which was her going through menopause, yes. That is what Super Princess Peach is all about, by the way. If you don't know that, go and actually look at the game properly.
We're going to get kicked off YouTube for that.
Yep.
If we're not kicked off YouTube already, I think we're safe.
So long as nobody ever listens to the show.
Well, they don't, so that's fine. So yeah, Mario World Tour. It is a bad game. It doesn't scale up very well either when you put it on a tablet. It just looks like deep fried butt cheeks.
Well, that's vivid.
Yes. Like, they've taken a lot of the tracks from Mario Kart 8 and then downscaled them for mobile device. So when you put it on a tablet, it upscales them again. And it just looks really, really yucky.
That's horrible. Why would you do this?
Yeah, I will grant that my tablet at this point is like 6 years old, which is prehistoric by tablet standards.
Yeah, I can't see myself buying a tablet. I don't feel like I would buy one that was capable of doing anything. That's the thing. Like, I don't know where the outer limits of it are. Like, do I need something more powerful than my phone, but less powerful than my laptop or my computer?
Yeah, maybe. Honestly,
I can sell him a tablet right now. You can play FGO on a big screen.
I can play FGO on a big screen using my PC.
Oh, that's right. You use the Android Mirror app, don't you?
Yeah, yes. I just cast it to my monitor.
And it lets you capture it if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly I use my tablet to watch anime in bed.
I've never been able to do that sort of crap. Like, I've seen people who have weird things that suspend their phone in front of them while they're in bed, but when I go to bed, it's like I read and then I go to sleep. That's it.
Yeah.
When I go to bed, I just go to bed. Like, the bed is for sleepy time. You people are weird.
The bed is for sleeping, going to sleep with your tablet pressed to your face, still watching an episode of an anime you weren't really interested in the first place. That's
if I try and like look at my phone while I'm in bed, I usually fall asleep and drop it on my face.
Yep.
And that hurts. So I don't do
that. What else did I really do for this week? Not really much, honestly. It's just been a full-on work week again. I suppose I have one thing I can mention. Let me just not get to somewhere I'm going to be horribly dead. You know, not where a boss stands. Let's see. So I did have to buy some stuff from Amazon a few weeks ago. And it popped up with this random snack box of Japanese munchable things.
It's got the Woofloo, don't eat it.
No, thankfully I got it before that happened, I think.
Why are you importing Winnie the Flu, man?
The Crunchyroll keeps bugging me with that crap, actually.
Yeah, like it was like $20, so I figured, what the actual hell, and do it. Honestly, my question is, for a lot of this stuff, what the actual hell?
Why didn't you do an unboxing video, dude? You're supposed to do an unboxing video.
Because I have some taste in what I actually put up.
Well, that's not true.
The fact that you put the show up means that can't possibly be true.
That is a blatant lie, yes. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff is fairly standard. Like, there's fairly standard candies and things like that. There is This, I'm assuming, is candy, but it is actually packaged like medication.
Well, you need to press down and unscrew the top.
No, it's in the
Blisters.
foil trays.
Yeah, the blisters.
Yeah, the blisters. These are what essentially is one giant Cheez-It. And then there's some strange stuff at the bottom, like there's
I
stuff
don't
where
know
you
what a
make
Cheez-It-
drink. Yeah. Well, it's actually closer to a Cheezel, which is Australian, but I don't think you actually get those outside.
I know what a Cheezel is. I don't know what a Cheez-It is.
Cheez-It's kind of generic.
I'm the opposite. I don't know what a cheezel is, but I know what a Cheez-It is.
A Cheezel is a thing that gets orange powder on everything, and I can't stand the taste of them.
Yeah. So in this case, like I had a teriyaki one. This one, I have no idea what the flavor is. It's a cat riding a unicycle on it with a monkey. Maybe it's monkey flavored. Maybe it's unicycle flavored. I don't know.
If it's monkey flavored, then it'll give you AIDS or Ebola, not Wu flu.
No, that's just still not preferable. This one has
Is there
octopi
any-
all over it, so I'm assuming that's takoyaki flavored. And then there's these weird straps, which I have no idea what they are. It looks like... I have honestly no idea what this is. It's got a very happy wasabi root on it, though.
Have you tried eating it?
I have not. Hang on.
Is it going to be wasabi flavored?
Yeah, there's another one here which has a salmon dinner on it by the look of it. What's this one?
Is there one with a bat? Because that one's probably the Wu flu.
This one's got an octopus.
That's not the Wu flu.
That's not the Wu flu. This one's a mobile phone. Why?
Why are you eating your phone, Fern?
I'm not going to eat my... Well, maybe I should eat my phone. Then I wouldn't have to deal with it. Alright, let's try this wasabi one.
I'm now imagining
Oh,
the T-Rex.
curious. Okay, I can't actually bite through that. And that tastes
What do you mean you can't?
extremely weird.
What do you mean you can't bite through it?
It's like a piece of leather. Ah.
Are you sure that's food?
No, at this point. But it is also
It
definitely
sounds to me
wasabi
that
flavored.
It sounds to me that it is just a literal strap.
Ah.
It's not actually a food that is strap shaped.
So, I have this piece of leather that is definitely wasabi flavored, and I can't... Ah.
Maybe
That-
you're supposed to like wet it and roll it on top of food to get wasabi flavor on it.
Maybe?
That I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it's actually supposed to be generically edible unless you have, like, really good teeth. Like, canine level good teeth. So that's... that also tastes really weird, so I'm not going to eat that. So... I'm
This
not
is Fern eating food. that
attempting to
is
eat...
leather.
Yeah, that's just a literal piece of leather. Wasabi flavored leather.
Is it hot like wasabi or is it just horseradish flavored?
It's horseradish flavored. It's got a bit of
Right.
heat to it, but yeah, it just tastes like horseradish.
Somebody brought wasabi flavored Doritos to a shared morning tea at work once, and we didn't know what they were, and some people got a pretty nasty shock.
That sounds like someone just wanted to see the world burn.
No, I talked to her about it, and she just didn't realize. She just bought whatever the new flavors were.
Oh. Yeah, you got to be careful buying new flavored Doritos.
Yeah, like it didn't bother me so much because the hot of wasabi is sort of like it's more like alcohol than it is like chilies.
Mm-hmm.
So since I drink neat vodka as my preferred spirit, it's a similar sensation eating wasabi. So while I was surprised, it wasn't traumatic for me, but some other people, yeah, there was a panic of sorts.
Why is this burning?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Gotta love them new experimental flavors. We get them all the time here at my house because my dad works for Coke.
yep,
And he gets to bring home just cases of new weird crap.
stuff that really should not be a thing.
It's usually stuff that ain't released to the public either, so that's pretty cool. But it's just weird flavors of crap.
Yeah.
Incidentally, is the wasabi root singing?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm trying to find out what it is that you're looking at.
Wasabi nori is actually written on it.
Right, I see. Here we go. Named for the smiling wasabi man on the package, it offers an unusual blend of minced fish, seaweed, and squid that has been oven baked to perfection, creating a flat and hearty snack that is difficult to imagine but easy to love. The kappa is a generous coating of wasabi oil, which adds a very spicy shot of mountain taste to all the seafood on parade. It's a balance that works and should keep you coming back if you can handle the jolt you get in your nose every time you eat one.
Yeah, there is definitely seafood under it. But all I'm tasting at this point is horseradish. So that's an interesting experience, and I'm probably going to be tasting horseradish for the rest of the day.
Yep, it does work like that.
Yeah. But on the topic of weird chip flavors, like I think last time I went and saw a strange one around here, like we get all sorts of strange ones. Like I think we get satay and mince pie and fried onions and things like that. The latest one though, Lamington. Lamington, for those who don't know, is a sponge cake, just a plain sponge covered in chocolate, then rolled in coconut. Really nice.
Super popular in New Zealand.
Really yummy. But not the sort of thing that should be on deep fried potatoes.
What?
Yep.
How can you even?
It's a potato chip, a Lamington flavoured potato chip. I did not try it. I wasn't insane enough.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
Because the icing on Lamington has got a very sort of sharp sweetness to it.
Yes, when done right.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that being paired with a savoury food. That's just insanity.
Exactly. That's why I didn't try it, because why? What are they thinking? Like things like having a meat pie or a sausage sizzle flavoured potato chip, that's fine. Because they're savoury flavours. Lamington is not. Lamington is cake.
Yeah, I tried like a stir-fried beef flavoured pack of potato chips.
That sounds
the
alright.
other day. It was really disappointing.
Nah.
It was basically just barbecue flavoured.
Boo.
It wasn't even a good barbecue flavoured.
Just crap barbecue flavoured.
Yeah, it was like, budget barbecue chips.
Yay. So yeah, that I'm going to leave my week at, and might have to walk away and find some water. Yeah. Yeah, that's seaweed and wasabi. Meh. I'm not looking forward to whatever those other straps are, but I'll just leave them somewhere for somebody else to try.
You mean you're going to leave a trap?
I am going to leave a trap.
Somebody's just going to open it and try and bite into it, and then...
And realise they're just chewing on a piece of belt. Yes. Just, nah. Alright, so for all your week, sir.
My week was a nightmare. From start to
Yay.
finish, every aspect of it has been a horrible, horrible experience. Beginning with surgery and ending with my complete depletion of energy from the moving house. And everything that happened in between was unfortunate and unpleasant, and I don't want to relive it. It was a rough week, and I can only hope that next week will be better, because if it is worse, I may not survive the week.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, it's been horrible, but it's also looking like it's going to get worse, because we've lost another 2 experienced staff at work, and it seems like the manager, who's only just been barely like that, the lab manager as opposed to the business manager. Business manager is the useless. The lab manager has barely been holding everything together, and it seems like she's just had enough and is looking for work elsewhere. And since she's got 20, 30 years of experience in lab management and stuff, she'll probably be able to find one.
Oh yeah, she'll probably be gone by next week.
Yeah, it's just going to be rough. And since she never takes a holiday, all of her 4 weeks notice or whatever can just be put down to annual leave, since she's the one that approves annual leave.
Yeah. Here's my 4 weeks notice. I'm going on leave. Bye.
So yeah, things are going to get really rough. There's nobody to take her place.
That ship is sinking, yo.
Yeah, like I know maybe one person in the business who could do the job that she does, and I'm pretty sure that from what I know about her, she'd refuse it.
Mm.
But
What would you say if they offered you the job?
I wouldn't take it.
No.
Because I wouldn't be able to handle the stress getting dropped in a job like that, because it's more than one person's job, and she has been letting them take advantage of her and pile more and more work on her, which is why she's cracking it.
Yeah.
And they would expect that if they would have put me in there, that I could just pick it up and run with it. But no, I don't have the sort of experience needed to do that. The only reason she's been able to hold it together is that she's got so many years of experience, so much practice at keeping the car in the road.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if I think that our quality officer could do the job, if she wanted it and they offered it to her. I don't know whether they would or not. She's been through the special company training thing, which is supposed to equip people to be lab managers. So, like, I'd say that there's a possibility they'll offer it to her. If that vacates her position and that goes up for grabs, I might apply for that, because her position is one that I'm already involved in, work very closely related to it, since I'm on the national team for reviewing and aligning all of the method documents,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't pay anything. It's just, yeah, I'm a peon who's been given extra non-peon responsibilities for no additional pay. But yeah,
right?
at any rate, things are basically, they have gone downhill in the past, and it looks like the incline of the downhill is going to get even sharper. They have been very, very slow at reacting to changing circumstances. And interestingly, of the people that have left recently, I think like 3 or 4 of them have been purposefully hired away by the business manager that got turfed out to bring in the Yes Man.
Yay.
Like, he's basically, well, on one hand, he knows the people that he's hiring and trusts them to do a good job, because he's hiring people he knows, essentially. Because he's been put in charge of a team over on the West Coast, and he's looking to expand his roster of people. And he's picked a bunch of people, most of which he knows from working with them where I'm currently working. And on the other hand, I feel that he got turfed out under unfair circumstances, and this is about the most vicious revenge you could possibly take.
Yep.
Because he's taking away all the experienced staff and leaving this place to flounder. So, either way, it makes my job difficult, and I'm not really looking forward to having to deal with it. But it's the way it goes, I guess. But yeah, the rest of my week, lots of unpleasant things happened. I don't want to go through it. My eye is still doesn't feel great, and the focus feels wrong. And I hope that it heals up to be correct, because it feels very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
At present, it feels overcorrected, and I really don't want to go under the knife a third time. I will if I have to, but I will have serious questions as to why they need a third shot. Hopefully, it will heal up naturally. The focus of the eye tends to adjust quite a bit as it recovers when you've had to do sort of extensive work on it, like I've had on my left eye. Like, my right eye was one and done. It's crystal clear, better than 20/20 vision. My left eye.
No.
My left eye was always troublesome though. Like, it was like, what is it, -7.5 or whatever it is.
Okay.
It was a hefty short-sightedness.
That's like 2 points away from legally blind.
But yeah, it's. I don't want to go back under the knife. It was really unpleasant this time, but yeah, it'll be months before I'll have the opportunity. But if this strings on much longer, it won't be covered anymore. That's the thing, under the original cost, and I'm going to have some very serious questions if they can't get it right. It's premature for me to be worried about it, because there's still a lot of healing process to go. The cornea is probably still quite inflamed. I can feel it still a little gritty, but looking through it feels very strange, because it's almost like wearing a prescription that's too strong for short-sightedness. That's what it feels like looking through it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Anyway, I didn't play any games this week. I don't think I barely played any mobile games this week. I just didn't have the time. I was constantly moving, trying to get my new house set up. and I'm mostly unpacked now. Haven't set up the PlayStation, set up nearly everything on the shelves, and rent is more expensive here, but my room is palatial compared to my previous one. That is to say, I have room to turn around.
Yeah.
So what's the percentage price jump compared to where you were living?
It's a little increase by, but I'm probably about 20 to 25% increase in rent per week.
Jeez,
it's quite a bit. But I was living pretty cheaply before. But yeah, the rent's going up everywhere though, so some portion of that would have gone up anyway due to the year-over-year rent increases.
Why'd you have to move again? Your landlord just went AWOL?
The landlord went AWOL, was unable to be contacted around the time our lease was expiring. And then our lease expired. And we were functionally squatting. And then he got back to us. And then said, oh, yeah, we'll put you on a temporary lease extension, but I want to sell the place. And so he started bringing people around to show them the place to sell. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm sure they'll want to keep you on. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that never works.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
No.
But Serapis is complaining I'm not projecting enough, but actually it's that I'm sitting too far away from my mic because I haven't got the boom set up quite correctly.
Good.
I can't mess with it during the show because it'll make a huge amount of noise.
In that case, I'll stop banging on Discord and trying to get that to behave because that's not the problem.
Yeah, I can't move much closer. If I sort of pull my seat around in here, maybe I can get a little bit closer. Also, I don't know if Discord has changed any settings on me because of the unplugging everything and plugging it all back in again.
I'm going to say, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it tends to do that. But, yeah. So, new house set up, new house expensive. I don't much like the location in some ways. The specifics of the location, that is on an incredibly narrow street. I don't know how they get the garbage truck down it, but my flatmate said he got caught behind the garbage truck and it took him 15 minutes to go down like 100 meters of street.
Good grief.
Because there was just no room. But, what did I do other than work? I did read a book. I read the first volume of the light novel of That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime.
Oh, yes, slime time.
The adaptation is fairly faithful. The anime adds a few little scenes here and there, which I don't really feel either add or subtract from the story. They just seem strange, like they've padded time out in a couple places for no real reason. But yeah, mostly it seems okay. The only major deviation, I suppose, well, number one, the art in the light novel is actually pretty bad. Like, you can always use the "it's my style" excuse with art, but I don't particularly like it. I don't particularly like the art that much, but the art's not the point anyway. But the one thing which I do note in the book is that the book is, I feel like the book is a bit more harsh on Gobta.
Aww.
Like, Rimuru sees him with almost like it's not quite disgust, but he like when he strings Gobta up with the he's practicing using his strings to tie things up, and he hangs Gobta from the roof of the cell, right? Remember?
Yep.
In the book, he deliberately gives Gobta what he refers to as bagworm hell for him to do penance for his many sundry idiocies.
That's a bit dark.
Like, he's just mean to Gobta specifically, not to anybody else, just to Gobta. But and there's also the book. The book has a short story in the back, which is basically Gobta's. I think it's called Gobta's Big Adventure or something like that. And it's Gobta's the one that guides Rimuru to the Dwarven City to do the trading and get the help. The reason Gobta can do that is that he once made the journey, the round trip himself, to sell goods that the goblin tribe had taken off of adventurers that they'd caught. And the Gobta's big adventure is basically the story of how he managed to do that. And he actually comes off as, I think heroic is the wrong word because he's not clever enough to be heroic, but he comes off looking pretty good there.
Yeah, the anime gives him a couple of moments where he's bumbling around and just being generally useless, but then he'll do something that's actually quite impressive.
Well, he encounters, like, this is back when he's a regular bog standard goblin, and he encounters a goblina, which is like the leveled up version of a goblin woman, and just falls head over heels for her and proposes that she bear his children immediately.
That's taking these a little quick.
Because he's Gobta.
Yes.
And she of course laughs at him and turns him down, but eventually he wins her over, after he's already departed the scene, and she thinks that actually he wasn't so bad after all because he does all this apparently heroic stuff, which is just basically Gobta being Gobta. But they make a point about how he seems to just have something about him that some sort of little X factor about him that makes him different to normal people. He just always seems to win, always seems to accomplish things, even when he's being beaten up or even when he's done something completely idiotic. Everything just always seems to work out for him, and that really comes through in the book. Like, his luck factor is just through the roof because he gets really hungry, and so he just randomly picks a mushroom and eats it, and
oh dear,
and it's like this luridly coloured mushroom covered in warning signs, and apparently it turns out that it is an unbelievably poisonous mushroom, but it just so happens that it's only poisonous if you heat it up and cook it, and since he's tired at night he just tries to scarf it down. And then he wakes up in the morning to forage for food again, and he sees these luridly coloured mushrooms. It's like, I must have eaten one of these non-colourful ones because there's no way that I would eat something that colourful. It's obviously poisonous. So he picks all of the bland coloured ones this time to take with him on his journey. And then he runs into a monster or something, and he tries to throw a rock to distract it so that he can get away. And he accidentally throws the mushroom instead, the tasty looking normal coloured mushroom. And so he's just, instead of grabbing a rock out of his pocket, he's grabbed a mushroom and thrown it at the monster, which is, should spell doom for him. But it turns out that it's a mushroom that releases incredibly corrosive spores or something. So he throws that at the monster's face, and the monster gets poisoned by it, and he runs off. But there's lots of, and then again later it turns out that those spores are also explosive, and he actually sets them off to defeat another monster. But yeah, he's a guy who gets through life on his luck factor.
Yeah, and nothing else.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of extra in the book there that never made it into the main story. But it was a fun enough read. The internal monologue is fairly consistent, although there's a little bit more detail. The one thing I think the anime does really well is that I feel like the anime makes Great Sage into a character better than the text does.
She basically becomes the snarky little voice in Rimuru head.
But the thing is that the anime manages to convey that, what you said, except that she never actually says anything snarky.
No.
Usually you can tell she's snarking when she's being silent.
Yes.
But that's something I think the anime does really well, better than the book does. The book basically has her basically being automatic text sort of thing, insofar as she doesn't. It's implied that Great Sage seems to act as though there's a personality at work, but it's also sort of explicitly stated that shouldn't be so. I do like that about the anime, but the book was still pretty good. But that's pretty much all I've got to talk about on that count because it's the only thing I had time to do. I did read some other books, but there's not really much to report on that since it was just another chapter in an ongoing series, and other people don't have much reference for. Although I am partway through reading volume 9 of Konosuba at the moment,
Nice.
and at this point, Kazuma has basically made his millions and spends most of his time trying to figure out how to not do any work at all.
So basically, he's just becoming peak Kazuma at this point.
Yeah, pretty much, which is something that the girls all object to.
Of course.
But yeah, the Darkness and Megumin have figured out that they figured out at some point in the past that they could use feminine wiles on Kazuma to get him to do things, and at this point, he's basically been disappointed so many times that doesn't work anymore. So he acts even more of a scumbag. But it's made pretty clear by the text that even though they are flirting with him to exploit him mostly. Well, not so much to exploit him, because that would imply they weren't being fair. That to get him to do anything at all, really. But it's still pretty clear that they quite like him. And it's the text leans pretty heavily on Megumin. Probably has feelings for him, but is not interested in letting him know because it's more useful to tease him.
Also more fun.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have much else to talk about. It was not a great week, and I hope that next week will be better, but I don't have high hopes.
All right, then. In that case, we should probably take a break before we go on to Ari's week.
Alrighty.
Who seems to have disappeared.
Oh, helps if I unmute the microphone.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, Fern's food review went on longer than I thought it did.
Didn't take that long. Even though I'm still tasting horseradish. No.
I'll have a bit of a mess with my mic boom during the break and see if I can get it in a better position.
Alrighty. We'll go to some music so Vol can fix his mic and Fern can de-wasabi, and we'll be right back.
Oops, now we're back.
And we're back.
That's better.
For reals this time.
It helps if you click all of the buttons. So, Ari, your week, sir.
My week. My week was a bit all over the place. So, the significant work event this week with my gerb was I needed to find a way to measure, I forget what it's called, but it's the part of a basin, which is a big cylinder we stick the pumps we sell in. And it fills up with water, and the pumps move the water out of the basin to wherever it needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of it that I totally am brain farting on what it's called right now, but it's not intuitive to measure. You have to calculate the actual volume of how much water you need to move, and find a way to translate that into how many inches for however big around this basin is that you need. And so I wound up digging around the internet and asking a few people, and eventually managed to reconstruct a formula that I'm certain has been found before by finding other people that had a vague idea what I was talking about. That formula is pi r squared times h divided by 231 equals gallons per minute. Don't worry too much about the specifics here. This is the easy part.
Yep.
So, I got this formula figured out, and I tried it about 3 times with some various orders I had just laying around, and it worked. It seemed to work consistently. So I wrote an email and sent this dang thing out to literally everybody. And it was wonderful. And I thought that would be the end of it. We now have the formula to solve for this part of the basin measurement that we do not normally have.
So is that just volume divided by volumetric flow rate or something?
Yeah, it's just converts the volume into how much that volume will cover in height for in inches. That's what the 231's for.
I see.
Silly moon measurements.
So that's all lovely until I tried to get my boss to do it and check it.
I'm surprised your boss wanted to do any work.
I'm surprised he can breathe, honestly. I
had to drag him. Oh, I didn't drag him anywhere. I printed it on a piece of paper and took it to him. And I showed him how it works. And he was really about it and didn't really want to learn how to do math. Now, I'd already done the geometry part of this. This thing's a cylinder. And he started freaking out when he saw I was using pi, because I guess because he doesn't understand math, he thought I couldn't either.
But it's a round object. You need to use pi.
Yes, it's this perfect cylinder.
But you went to school. You must be smart.
Pi is a constant number as well. It's not hard.
He's not the brightest bulb in the box.
So the formula again is pi r squared times h, the variable you're solving for, divided by 231 equals GPM. The very first thing he did was try to subtract 231 from both sides of the equation.
Yeah, there's no subtraction in there anyway. Or no addition, rather.
There's no addition or subtraction anywhere in that formula.
Nope.
When was the last time he had to do any kind of equation? Any sort of arithmetic?
At least 30 years. From what I can tell. Like, no, you don't do that. You have to multiply. He goes, oh, right. Okay, he understood that part. And then we got to r squared. The first thing he tried to do, and I didn't think about this because it was just a passing opossum moment to me, because the bigger dumb hits later. He tried to plug in the diameter for radius.
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
I'm like, no, you need the radius. It's like, yeah, that's how far across it is from the center point. So we need to cut it in 2. He's like, that's weird. Okay.
What?
And then the next thing he does is he multiplies it by 2 because he thinks squared means times 2.
See,
and he's like, see, it's the same number we had before.
Yeah, see, like I said to Ari during the week, there is one time where that is true. And that is if the base number is 2. That's it. It's the only time.
Yeah. At this point, I actually hit my head on my desk many times, very hard, in front of the opossum. And had to explain, no, that is not what squared means.
No, it's not.
And he did not believe me until I pulled out a calculator and got another coworker passing by to verify that I was not crazy.
You still might be crazy.
Well, yes, but not on this.
No,
Well,
not on that.
As one thing for him to not know math and to be sort of shell shocked that you were able to write an equation. But why does he still think that he knows better than you?
Got me. I'm the one that's doing all the footwork. But no, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Eventually, I just wind up doing the math for him and explaining every step as I go and going, look, this is how it works. If you get anything where you need me to find out the base and depth, I'll figure it out for you. Just send it to me. Because I don't want him even attempting math after watching that mess.
Could you maybe... no, hang on. That won't work because that would require him actually... I was going to say, put the formula into Excel, so all he needs to do is put in the number.
He can't use a computer.
Yeah, that requires Excel. That doesn't work.
No, it requires him to be able to turn on a PC.
This dude still doesn't know what a file folder on a computer is or what the save as function does. Like, we're still at elementary grade PC. I've told him what they do about 80 times over the last 3 months.
That one
we
actually
are well
hurts.
We are well into the hundreds of times that I've told him how this works ever since I started working there. And he just doesn't get it.
And now I have a headache.
Well, I managed to find out the dang base depth we need for this Dream Hotel Theater job or whatever it's called. Some incredibly, soy boy sounding name for a hotel, but whatever.
Nah.
They're paying me a whole lot of money to do it, so.
Best kind of hotel.
The FNAF hotel.
The one that pays you rather than making you pay them.
Yep. Paying me a whole lot of money to make sure their poop can leave the hotel.
There is money in poop.
Why were you trying to get your boss to do math anyway? Like, his job is basically to lie on the couch and play PlayStation, isn't it?
That's what he does. His job is supposed to handle the top end stuff of the business by responding to the clients while I do the grunt work, but that does not actually happen in reality. Mostly because I'm scared of what he'll say. And I have forcibly taken that responsibility away because he scares me when he's on the phone. This dude answers the phone like he's about to kill the other person on the line.
Oh dear.
Well, they interrupted his PlayStation playing to call.
Yeah. Like, I'll just take the calls. I'll deal with the customers. I'll answer the email. And he chicken pecks. And he doesn't just chicken peck. He chicken pecks with one hand and very slowly. That's faster than he chicken pecks.
Good grief.
And so he takes ages if anything requires typing of any kind.
Well, maybe he wasn't completely roasted most of the time.
Yeah, so that'll get to the later story. So I am suspicious of what reasons would involve the second story about work. So whatever, we now can calculate the whatever depth or the whatever height of this was. We need to add to the pump height and the inlet height. This is the rest of it. This is just the extra basin you have to hold more water because pumps can move more than water than they are tall. So finally, we can calculate these without having to call Tim up and going, oh, okay, hey, we have this model, and it's moving this much fluid at this feet ahead. Can you tell me what the basin height I should have is? Because that got really annoying. Both for me and probably for Tim, too.
Yeah.
So finally, we just crunched this stupid thing out. And the opossum finally got pushed into a position where he had to have me figure it out because Tim was on vacation. He was off doing family stuff for the start of March or whatever, and he wasn't there, so we couldn't call Tim. He couldn't get a basin depth, and we needed one right now. So that was an experience. But reconstructing a formula that's definitely existed somewhere by somebody else before several times probably was not a fun experience. And then trying to get the opossum to understand it was an even harder one. That just absolutely broke my brain. But it's okay, because MSNBC is apparently even worse at math than that.
Yeah, we figured all this one out before the show. Just the level of wrong.
So this mathematical unachievement of the opossum was completely undershadowed by MSNBC and their, if you spend $500 million, you can pay 134 million Americans $1 million each.
Ow. Ow, ow, ow.
Yeah. Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah.
So this particular incident got pushed under the water pretty quick when a similar, more ridiculous math incident happened later. And then we had what I will call the Feng Shui Friday. I told the opossum I'm going to be a little late coming in the office on Friday. I got to do my normal morning rounds, and I'm going to stop and get a haircut on the way home. Or on the way back to the office. So I get stuck at the haircut place for like an hour or so because there's a lot of people there for some reason. But I told him I was going to be late, so I get in there around 11. So I'm in the door pretty late. Come in, and my entire desk, the whole thing, has been rotated 90 degrees. I have a 2-piece giant wooden desk, folks.
Yeah, that is a heavy-looking desk.
And the whole dang thing has just been rotated 90 degrees.
But why?
And it's not actually less functional than it was before, except for the part where my file cabinet was a casualty in this. And all my files in it were just sitting on my desk in random orders, and I had to sit and resort them and find a new home for them that was nowhere near as convenient. Because I had a little file cabinet sitting against the wall next to my desk. But that will not fit, apparently, if you put the long end of the desk facing the wall. So it had to go because, I'm not kidding, it has better feng shui, he says.
Do you think he is actually like, was he like stoned out of his mind and reading about feng shui online or something? Or do you think he was just like decided that he wanted to turn the desk because of reasons and gave that as his excuse?
I thought we got out of the whole feng shui craze years ago.
I think it was the latter, but I wouldn't rule out the former. So this was a mess. I had to completely reorganize my desk, make sure everything was still working, because there's not a small amount of what for the opossum would be high-tech equipment sitting on my desk.
Like, what is that, brick?
Like the speakers and the wireless headphones. That's like from some alternate future where they advance technology to such a point that we can time travel and crap. As far as the opossum is concerned.
I have to ask, does he think the Jetsons is a documentary?
He'd probably think, oh no, I don't think he thinks anything about the Jetsons. But
he probably will get confused because you took the adding machine away.
Yeah, so before the Feng Shui Friday, I had removed the adding machine from my desk. And he did ask me where it was when I came in on Feng Shui Friday.
It's gone.
I evicted it from my desk because it was a big brick that was taking up space that I only used once every 2 months and taped to a packing receipt. So, well, how will you add stuff? And I've told him this 800 times. I do all my adding on the computer with the calculator. He's like, well, you can't check the history of that. I'm like, it has a history tab.
It's right there.
Does it? I've never actually looked.
Yeah, it does.
Jeez.
So, Feng Shui Friday happened. The former coworker who used to work in the other half of my office had a big giant piece of metal that had been sitting there forever, which I actually wanted gone. And part of Feng Shui Friday was making that piece of metal disappear. So his desk went poof. And I was actually glad about that and has been replaced by the tackiest potted plant that is not alive. It's some piece of plastic you've ever seen in your life. I don't have a picture of that. I should take a picture of that when I go back in the office.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, so not as legitimately stressful as Vol's Week, but just a whole level of WTF stressful that should not have happened. Because people are dumb.
Yeah, you just seem to have been struck with the dumb fairy this week.
My goodness, people. If anybody ever says feng shui is justification for something ever again, I might beat them over the head with a pipe.
Yeah.
What if they actually are a Chinese geomancer, though?
I'll beat them over the head with a pipe.
What are the actual odds of finding a Chinese geomancer in Georgia, though?
I don't know. They're outspreading that Wu flu at the moment, aren't they?
I don't think so. I don't know. The latest thing for coronavirus has basically been, let's have grown women fight in supermarkets over toilet paper. That's just the thing now, apparently.
I'm kind of glad the Wu flu showed up because my workflow was getting really congested. And Winnie the Flu has done a nice job getting all them people sick or scaring people from showing up at work sites and staying in the planning phases. And so my workload doesn't involve trips to places right now, which I really don't have time to take and run around and do ever since Winnie the Flu showed up. So in this way, I'm very thankful to Winnie the Flu. China, can I order these? Like, can I pay you some money?
That's not the sort of thing you should be doing on the regular internet. Right, we should be back.
Serathis, you gotta tell us because it's gonna take a while for my sub box to update it. I see a live now show. Bear with us, folks. We are attempting to fix.
You seem really quiet, Fern.
I'm not actually saying anything at the moment. Hang on. I need to go in here as well because for some reason YouTube halfway through the stream just doesn't want to put anything onto Firefox.
There we go. Okay, it finally corrected.
It's alive!
Okay.
So yeah, OBS just quietly, just happily crashed in the background and didn't say anything.
Yep. I'm buying bioweapons from China to reduce my workload.
Yeah, staff it.
Yeah, and Umbrella Corp has good coverage.
We did have to make the obvious Umbrella joke. Right, where were we?
Right, so video games. So I have to rewind back to the start of the video game talk before we realize the stream crashed.
You have to make the noise.
Yep. Now, what was I doing while... Let's see... Never mind.
So, video games. I'll go quickly. Strider is the game I played. So, Strider is a Metroid-style game, and for those that don't know, it was pushed by the Maximilian dude, the fighting game YouTube dude, who at the time was fairly modest and just by himself, basically, and made the Assist Me series. He was working with Capcom on certain projects, and every time he met with them, he would be like, please make a new Strider game. And he had a lot of pull doing this.
So he didn't, at this stage, have a head that was visible from space?
No. He was still... This is back when... Spice! No, Max was fairly chill back then. I mean, he was still Max, but he was way more chill. But he still had a lot of pull with Capcom because he was such a big influencer at the time. Mm-hmm. And so he pushed them hard to make a new Strider game because he loves Strider Hiryu. And for those that don't know, the Strider series is the dude with the big plasma blade on his arm that dresses in incredibly flashy colors for a ninja and runs around.
Worst ninja.
Yeah, and the 2014 remake is a Metroid-style game where you run around doing the absolute opposite of ninja things and using your plasma sword to cut down everybody and get power-ups and upgrades to help you traverse the world and attack enemies better. The game is fine.
Naruto game.
Yeah.
He does Naruto run.
Well, he doesn't. He puts the plasma blade to his side and holds that arm straight, but he puts his other arm up in front of his scarfed face to protect his face from whatever he's running against, I guess.
Whatever shiny object he's looking at.
Yeah, get a better view of use it as shade so you don't get sun in his eyes while he's running. Just wear sunglasses or something, Strider. But anyway, the game is perfectly playable and fine if you need something to do with your hands. I used it exclusively to have something to do while I listened to the Word audiobook because they just finished chapter 13. So the biggest thing with Strider, though, is it's a small game. It's a fairly short game. But it's perfectly playable and worth your $10 or $15 if it's not free right now. But it is the grayest of gray paste of Metroid-style games out there. Like, there is nothing at all that's done exceptionally bad or exceptionally good to stand out. It is just total gray paste. And this puts it in an unfortunate point where I don't really have a lot to talk about it with. So you're going to forget about it. I mean, yeah, it was literally something to do with your hands. I mean, Max is literally the only person on the planet who likes Strider enough to beg Capcom to revive this dead franchise. Nobody knew who Strider was until Max brought him back. They might be aware that it was a game at one point in their past, but there were no fans of Strider out there.
No,
they're going to get a whole bunch of letters from angry fans of Strider.
I'll tell them that StarCraft 2 makes them terrible people too. But yeah. Strider is not, unfortunately, I can't say one way or the other. If you need a Metroid style game to do something with your hands while you listen to something, that's the only value I see in this game. But for that, it's just fine. But just know it's literally just something to occupy your other senses while your attention's somewhere else. So, yeah, that was that. The other game, I finished Beat Saber.
Yeah. Does the music get any better?
So, I linked both of y'all a few excerpts of my experiences after I finished it and I was pouring sweat.
I really wish you hadn't.
So, I was playing Beat Saber and finally got through the campaign. And some of the songs of the campaign are awful, but thankfully, once you get near the end, the last few missions, there are no truly just absolutely awful songs that are stuck with absurd requirements. We're playing. Beat Saber is the last song in the campaign set to Expert Plus difficulty, and your only requirement, I thought, was beat Expert Plus, which is the only Expert Plus in the campaign. Everything else was Expert or lower, and ramped up as you went. And just, it said, miss 20. And I missed the part where it said minimum misses 20. I just saw miss 20. I'm like, I guess it's because it's a new difficulty. I just need to not mess up our 20 notes. Okay, that's not too bad for the final mission. The song's terrible, but at least it's short. And so I blasted through. I finished it the first time, almost full combo it. And I'm like, yeah, that was easy. Mission failed. I have to deliberately make 20 bad cuts.
At least 20.
On Expert Plus, where a single miss miss will take half your life, and a bad cut will take a fourth. You have to make 20 bad cuts by the end of the song.
Oh, so it's not just you can just do 20 and call it good, because you've got to make it to the end of the song as well?
Yeah, you have to finish the song without dying, and you have to make 20 deliberate bad cut style mistakes, not miss mistakes. Those don't count.
Okay, that's a bit more complicated.
Yeah, this is a fairly common requirement, but they don't usually attach it to the song that's doing the step up in difficulty right after you just finished with hard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a nightmare, but it only took me about 20 minutes of practice to get it. Mostly because I was so disheartened because I thought I'd done it. I got the rush of I beat the Beat Saber, and then it's like, oh no, you failed. And so
you failed.
I think the disheartening factor is making me move slower is the main reason I failed the next 3 times before I finally got it.
It's not
It's
the fact
not a
that you
very
had to
hard-
listen to that terrible song again.
That probably didn't help, but by that point, I'd practically memorized that map. And the Expert Plus version is just that with more obstacles and a few more notes.
You did a lot of playing Beat Saber.
Yeah. You've had, it's attached to one of the much harder challenges way further earlier in the list around Mission 21.
Where are you on Expert Gay Frog?
Not able to play it yet, but we're getting there. So, what about Beat Saber campaign can I say? The campaign's hardest mission is Mission 28. Or 29. Yeah, 29. Now, thankfully, this song is so dumb and terrible that it's kind of funny. It's pirate techno step.
Oh dear.
Like, yar me mateys, there be treasure over there.
Pirate Dan?
Wob, wob.
Yeah, and then not quite full dubstep, but techno step. There's a little less bass than you would think for a pirate song.
Whip.
It sounds like wubstep, it feels like wubstep, but there's not enough bass to really have wubstep. But everything else is pirates. So, this song has no really difficult requirements. The one to not miss or bad cut 5 notes for both, or you can't miss 5 notes and you can't bad cut 5 notes, but you can make 4 of each, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So that requirement doesn't matter because you need to full combo this song because the score requirement is so dang tight that you're just not going to get it unless you perfect the song. So this is Unlearning Bad Habits, the song. Because all through the campaign, they make you do really wonky stuff like have T-Rex arms and have minimal or maximum hand movement where you can only move 120 meters for the whole song.
That sounds
with your
needlessly
hands.
annoying.
So they make you build a whole lot of bad habits with some of these wonkier challenges. And this song's whole purpose is to have you unlearn every single one of them. Because note scoring in Beat Saber is, depending on the angle from the start of your pre-swing to when you hit the actual note, with 75 degrees being what you need to hit at least to get a full credit for that, is worth 70 points. How close to the middle of the note you hit it is worth 10 points. So ranges from 10 to 0. And then the other one is your follow through. So if you just love tap the note, you don't get full points for this. But if you follow through with your swing to the full size of the note, then you get full points up to 30. So this totals max 120 points or 110 points per note that you can get. And so a whole lot of these bad habits you build up of just love tapping notes just to keep your multiplier up, or just focusing on just getting the notes right and not worrying about score. You have to unlearn all of that for this song.
Good times.
And eventually you get so good at the beginning of the song, the ridiculous part at the end, you can just put your hands up in the air and just skip it. Because it's just going to hurt your multiplier. And it's easier to recover from a missed note multiplier than it is from a bad cut multiplier. Because your timing will get thrown off. So there's a point in the song where I would near the very end where I would let my multiplier die because the notes setup is just really wonky. And I would just deliberately move the lightsabers out of the way and just go, well, starting from ×2.
Alrighty then.
Yep, not even going to try and hit that. You have to cross your hands over each other down below your waist, but still strike from above. So you have to make an X with your arms while holding the lightsabers so they slash downwards. And that broke my arms every time I tried to do it, and I only got it right a few times, so I just gave up on it.
Yeah,
and then after that, you have to uncross your arms and hit from the opposite sides. You have to flip which saber hits the notes right behind it and pull them up. So I just let those 4 notes go. I'm like, later, guys. Peace. We ain't doing that anymore. And there's an extra requirement in the song, though, that just for insult to injury, you have to move your hands 1,900 meters minimum. So that means whenever you get an opportunity, start windmilling.
Just flail.
You just turn your arms into windmills.
Right, okay.
This is incredibly tiring,
Yes.
and if I'd have tried to do this last week, I would have died. Or thrown a shoulder out, or slipped a disc, or, something.
I thought you did throw a shoulder out.
I sorely strained it. But I didn't totally destroy it. This song would have destroyed it if I hadn't had a week to build it up. But the campaign in Beat Saber is cleared. The songs were, for the most part, terrible. There's a couple that are tolerable. The dollar store discount knockoff Cascada songs are okay. They're good for warming up, and their beat mats are pretty fun. But most of the other stuff is hot garbage. So stay away from that campaign. Don't do this. I don't even know why I did it.
Because you're crazy?
Because I need to complete things.
Same thing.
So, yeah, those were the 2 Vidya I played, and that was my crazy work, and I think that's it.
Right then. In that case, let us jump into an email. I'm going to have to throw it to you, Vol, because I've got to keep the motion on the screen going.
Well, I need to do something because I almost fell asleep.
Yep, well, do the thing.
I must be more tired than I thought this week. Anyway,
Yeah, mental stress will do that to you.
this email is entitled, "We Have to Go Deeper."
No, that's a trap.
Dear No Excuses, what do you do? No, what do you... Hold on, I think there's a weird mistake. I'm just going to add one in. What do you do when your school becomes glitched, trapping all the pupils inside? You find the tunic-wearing mute hero and give him a quest to save them, of course.
Duh.
That's how Lena's inception starts. Unfortunately, Lance the hero dies during the tutorial, so Lena has to take up his sword, literally, and set out to save the world. Yeah, this game is very much a Legend of Zelda tribute, with its own twist. For example, the game is glitched at certain points, the world is randomly generated, and you get companions to aid you in battle, like a chicken, a pumpkin, or a librarian whose main hobby is writing lesbian self-insert fanfiction where she ends up, quote, slaying, unquote, the main boss.
Okay.
Also, tons of fetch quests that you have to do if you want the best ending, because Undertale, that's why. In other news, I completely missed a whole season of Venture Brothers. It was great. What wasn't great in the Western animation department was the Wonder Woman cartoon. It was bad, fam. Real bad. A garbled mess of characters not introduced properly, girl power, and a distinctive lack of the bondage and suspension fetish that Wonder Woman owes her genesis to.
Did she at least have the invisible jet?
Also, there was a Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover, which was mediocre, and Batman Hush, which was alright. And I'm actually finishing the rest of this email at 4 AM while at work on a break, so the rest of the Western animation heads up will be coming next week. Just stay away from the Wonder Woman cartoon. Seriously.
Thank you, Zarathus. I don't know. Wonder Woman's a character who never really caught me. Largely
Is this the one I'm thinking of?
Well, what, Wonder Woman? Or the cartoon?
Yeah, the cartoon. I know who Wonder Woman is.
I didn't even know she had a new one.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of it, and it's like, yeah, this like fake Cal art style that's somehow even worse and more pretentious.
What, do they make her look like a boy?
No, but it's like really shiny. Really
Shiny?
ugly garbage. Well, it's not, shiny's the wrong word. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like if somebody drew something shiny and then reduced the resolution too much so that it wasn't shiny anymore.
Okay, let's see. That'd be this one? Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it looks really bad.
It does.
And I'd only seen people making fun of the art for it before. I had never looked into it at all because I had no interest, just because the art was awful. But yeah, it doesn't look good, man.
No. So, incidentally, I actually watched a full dive review on the Thundercats Raw a couple of weeks back.
Why would you do this?
Because I wanted to see somebody else tear it apart. And as bad as we thought, it was so much worse.
Yeah, I think I watched that you linked.
Yeah, that was the Saberspark one, I believe.
Was not like, do people watch that for fun?
I can't believe that one even actually made it a thing. Like, the lines are so bad, I'm surprised the voice actors didn't revolt.
Well, everybody involved was probably huffing their own farts.
Yeah. There's only so much fart huffing can go around, though. Like, it is bad. It is really, really bad. It's like an insult not just to the original Thundercats in the remake, but basically to its audience as a whole.
Yeah. I don't want to think what they did to Lion-O.
No. They
Snarf,
took
Lion-O. Snarf.
every character they ruined.
I know. I've seen the art.
And not just the art, the behavior as well.
It doesn't even matter.
They made the characters like all of them are just super retarded.
Yeah.
Like functionally retarded. These people would not survive in the real world because they are too dumb to live.
Yeah, so none of the I'm going to use depth in a very loose term because there wasn't a whole lot of depth, admittedly, to the original Thundercats, but there was a reason that Lion-O was so naive and a bit goofy in the first time around. They skipped over that.
Yeah, there was. He got time traveled, didn't he, or something?
Sort of.
Like
Faulty
his
cryopod.
body. Yeah, his body aged, but his brain didn't. He was asleep.
Yeah. I think this game is actually about to tell me to buy Jim Dark Magic memorabilia, by the way.
I'm pretty sure that this version of Lion-O was just dropped on his head when he was a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure their planet has a drop your child on their head when they're a baby ritual because they're all stupid.
They're all ridiculous. Like, even, like, Chitara was always kind of the voice of reason a lot of the time, and even she's dumb as a plank.
She doesn't look like a girl.
Yeah.
I just pulled up the freaking the picture of it. She looks like some kind of butch, like, guy that wants to be a lesbian. It's like a guy cosplaying as a butch lesbian.
That's horrifying.
I'm gonna stop looking at pictures of that.
Yeah, let's stop talking about that, shall we?
That hurts my brain.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it is awful. And oh my, what have I walked into here? Yeah, I'm doing, in case you haven't noticed, I'm actually doing the Acquisitions Incorporated crossover event. This is nonsense. So anyway, what else does we have? Lena's Inception. I haven't actually looked at it.
I haven't either. I was Googling it earlier because I didn't have a clue what it was. This thing was completely off my radar.
Yeah. It sounds alright. Like, a bit Metroidvania-y, a bit roguelike-y, I guess.
Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda. Modern roguelike elements plus Zelda might work, but modern roguelike turns me off immediately.
Yeah, like roguelike Zelda worked for Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, anything with procedural generation, screw that noise.
Yeah, it's overused these days.
I'm getting so sick of it. I haven't liked it since it came out. I know there are people that like it, and good for you. I ain't gonna buy it.
Yeah.
That's great. You do you. That whole concept drives me nuts.
I think I should actually be doing this bit with voice acting. Oh well. Right. Anything else? I think that's about everything. Venture Brothers is the only other thing, and I haven't watched that in quite some time.
I've never sat down and watched a full season of Venture Brothers. I've only seen standalone episodes and mostly clips.
I've never seen an episode.
It's very strange.
You watched any of it?
Yeah.
The stray episodes I have seen were on TV. Somebody left it on the TV, and I just watched it because it was there. It's the only time I've seen a few episodes.
Wait, do Acquisitions Incorporated run a theme park?
Apparently, I'm on some sort of... It's a small world ride for Acquisitions Incorporated. I'm not sure what on earth is going on here. I'm going to have to come back and do this quest when I can actually listen to the voice acting, which is actually acted by the Penny Arcade crew, of course.
That couldn't possibly go poorly.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm not sure what you're talking about. All right. News. Stuff happened. Sort of.
Did it though? Did it really?
Not really.
I don't think anything has changed since this time last week.
Well, I mean, we have, for the first time in the history of the U.S., somebody running against the current president telling them to vote for the other guy. Never changed, Joe.
Yeah, here we go. This is about what I expected to happen. Everything's on fire. So, right, let's state the obvious one first. Nobody wants to develop for the Stadia.
Yeah, no, this...
Why would you?
Because...
They don't offer any compensation.
Nope.
They've got no install base. They don't give you any money.
Yeah, it's a terrible system to work with. You have to manage your game to play around having latency and netcode issues that aren't even your own that you can fix. Like, it's just a pain in the keister to work for.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately,
And also nobody uses it.
Yeah, nobody wants to buy one of those consoles because there's no games on it. They have one exclusive?
It's promoted. It was on PS4 or something, too.
Yeah, I didn't think that would last forever.
Or Switch or something. That card game, that fighting game with people that had a character that used Hanafuda cards, and people kept asking me how Hanafuda worked while they were playing it.
Oh, Samurai Showdown? Yeah, that's on just about everything now.
Yeah, but that was their headliner game at launch.
Which doesn't work.
They gave everybody Destiny, thinking that would mobilize people onto their platform. But
nope, Destiny's free on everything.
I've heard that when viewed like as a distribution of different people using different consoles to play the game, so few people play it on the Stadia that it just doesn't even appear on the graph.
Yep.
Even though everybody who has a Stadia has that game.
And nobody plays it because it doesn't work on the Stadia.
Well, nothing does.
Nothing does. So yeah, no one in the professional game development industry is expecting Stadia to be around this time next year at all.
Google's apparently trying to do something to save it. I don't think there's anything they can do, but
their efforts in order to save it are to poach a game developer from the Santa Monica studio of Sony.
Yeah, they jacked the head of that company, didn't they?
I believe she is. Yeah. So she's done, God of War, the first ones, the good ones, the really good ones.
That's lovely, but I want you to know that she is working for, and I quote, Google has set up a new California-based Stadia exclusive studio. Whatever the heck that is.
Well, that sounds like an incredible waste of money and talent, is what that is.
And the strange thing about all this is, it seems like they're really investing heavily in the long game, but they didn't get the launch right.
Yeah, you can't have a long game if you get the short game wrong.
This is like, it should be next to putting the cart before the horse in the dictionary. It's nonsensical, and it seems like the companies that they tried to work with know Google better than Google does on this count, because the given reason from very, very many companies who refused deals with Stadia was, we don't trust them to be still running this thing in a year's time.
Mm-hmm. And rightly so. Like, everyone knows that Google will abandon a project as soon as things start turning bad.
You're fighting a giant golden Jim Dark Magic.
Yes, I am. I have no idea why. And I think that's actually pretty much my experience for this whole questline is, what? We also have unionized ghosts, apparently.
I see.
Presumably of all the dead interns.
Is there a gelatinous cube following you around?
Yes. I called it stupid idea. Because keeping a pet gelatinous cube is a stupid idea. It was either going to be that or companion cube.
But it's not pink.
No,
or
it's
white
not
and
pink.
pink.
Thus, stupid idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That was a
It makes as much
side
sense
quest.
as anything else.
Anyway, what were we talking about? The Stadia.
So yeah, it's dead on arrival. It was dead on arrival because they completely flubbed the launch as well, but there's no games on it. There's no reason to buy one.
You can recover from a bad early game. You can ride out a bad late game. But if you don't start your car, you're never going to get out of the driveway, and that's effectively what Stadia has failed to do.
Well, the car has no engine.
The thing is that it doesn't matter if there were games on it. If there was a huge library of games, there would still be no reason to use the service because the performance is just awful.
Yeah, it relies on people's internet connections, and internet is not as good as Google likes to think it is.
I know they all probably live in like the one good neighborhood near San Francisco where they all have 20 different types of fiber running through their area, and that's lovely, Google employees. Rest of the world ain't like that.
Yep.
And apparently, even if you have like top-notch internet, it's still not good enough in most places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you have to live at the server farm. That's the only way that you can get decent performance.
Yeah, I'm here to tell you about as far from San Fran as you can get without going to New England. We get latency when we have to connect to California. So even in the States, this is not a winning proposition.
Yeah. But no, the ISPs will totally, out of the goodness of their hearts, lift their game and provide better internet to the masses.
No, they won't.
No, they won't.
The government has stepped in to protect them so hard especially during the 2000s and the early 2010s.
Yeah, so at the end of the day...
There's no way they're giving any of that up.
No. So why would you buy a Stadia when you're paying the same price, if not more, for a game in order to buy it on crappy hardware that's stuffed through your internet connection, when you can go to Steam or Epic or anywhere else, get it cheaper, wait for a couple of minutes for it to download, and then play it perfectly fine?
And God help you with the ISPs switching to data caps as much as they can get away with.
Yeah,
if you have to get under one of those,
your ISP is going backwards. But they
really are.
They think they're going forward because money.
Oh, their money numbers are probably going up, but their innovation is going straight down the toilet.
Yeah, data caps are a solution to a problem that no longer exists.
What if the problem is I don't have money?
If you're the customer, that's your problem. If you're the ISP, then money.
Their problem is I need mo money.
Mo money.
Stadia's a piece of trash.
It is absolute garbage.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that Google has not seemed to cotton on to this. Goodness knows they've launched enough stinkers in the past. You'd think they'd be able to recognise it.
You'd think so. I think at this point they've sunk all this money in it, so they want to try and recover at least a bit of it before they stick it into the graveyard.
I don't see a feasible way for them to get anything out of this with the way they just completely botched this start this hard. Even the PS3 had an exclusive or two.
Yeah, it had a really rocky launch.
But Stadia's got nothing.
Stadia has nothing.
And they ain't going to get people to come develop for it. So I'm doing my hands are over my head in the I don't know gesture, but you can't see that.
Visual gag. Right, what else we got?
As much as I was encouraging Winnie the Pooh earlier, they have managed to Winnie the Pooh has failed to cancel E3.
The thing is that the E3 is now so irrelevant that if they actually cancel it, everybody will realise that it's not necessary and nobody will ever go again.
Yeah, so they've got to keep on trucking, even if the
even if the Wu flu ain't a big deal right now.
But aren't they under like a state of emergency or something?
What state does that happen in? California?
Yeah.
They're about to be if they're not. I think I saw some state was declaring a state of emergency today.
Yeah, Los Angeles has declared a state of emergency.
Oh, yeah, that's totally going to help. We're going to panic our populace. This is fine. Anyway.
Oh, people.
Stop fighting in supermarkets over toilet paper, people. I'm not kidding. That's the thing that's going on right now.
Don't be dumb, peeps. But yeah, so E3 is still going on, and we will attempt to make fun of it when it happens, but nothing ever happens at E3, and the news always slows down before E3, expecting something to happen.
Well, I think that
nothing ever does.
The C3 is going to be even worse than normal because they're trying to rebrand themselves.
I think we'll probably end up just talking about everybody's, all the companies' various presses and just ignore E3 itself.
How many companies are going to give presses at E3?
They're all kind of doing a presser around E3.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there though.
Yeah, it's not at E3. They're just surfing the hype train.
I'm pretty sure that. I'm pretty sure that it's just going to be all like influencer bullcrap.
Yeah,
disgusting word. Like that's going to be the idea of rebranding, is to invite a bunch of Twitch talking heads that nobody who's older than 12 years old knows about.
That's the impression I'm getting.
And the Doritos Pope's bowing out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he does his own thing at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
That seems likely to me, that he's going to expand his Game Awards concept to be the new E3 basically, and just farm up all of the announcements for his own show.
Yeah, I would not be a scrap surprised. We probably won't see it this year, but next year.
Man, can you imagine the Game Awards lasting for a full week?
No,
that's,
I don't want to imagine
that's a
that.
week.
Whoops.
That's a week of Sonic Fox and Karl Marx praises.
Ugh.
Thankfully, it wasn't this bad. Now, as bad last year. There was no Sonic Fox.
You say that, but it could appear.
Please don't.
It could appear again.
Please no.
Never forget. The Game Awards will always be a joke because Sonic Fox.
Well, I mean, it's not like E3 isn't trying to compete for being the biggest joke.
Yeah. I'm just
quality comedy entertainment, these expos.
Let me just read you one of the ESA's slides on how they're going to reform E3.
Oh no.
The slide is entitled "The Power of Social Good." Point 1. Research shows that millennials and Gen Z are the most giving back / social good generations ever.
What?
Could have fooled me.
What?
Point 2. By amplifying E3's social good brand, we can advance the industry's brand with customers while storing positive chits for future use, e.g. policy goals, next negative video game story. Point 3. One tactic we can implement is partnering with influencers, celebrities, athletes, YouTube personalities, who are passionate about E3 relevant social good efforts, e.g. gender equality, STEM. Point 4. Imagine an NBA champion global superstar participating in an E3 Coliseum conversation and/or a global movie star being part of the E3 digital ticket because it included social good component.
So we're not actually having a games conference. It's just going to be an irritating woke extravaganza.
Sounds like that's what they're aiming for.
So yeah, games that come nowhere near it.
We say things like, oh, well, these companies have effectively infinite money, but how long until they get woke and get broke too hard and they don't have infinite money no more?
I think once nobody actually tunes in for E3, they'll hopefully learn, but I doubt it.
Yeah, E3 is going to be like this year's Oscars.
you might get people who will watch E3 this year, but next year you won't. They'll get one impression.
The thing is that show costs a mint to put on.
It does.
It costs even more to attend, arguably. But
okay, that should hopefully be working again. I'm just going to completely dismount Neverwinter from this because it's causing OBS to wig out, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So, yeah. E3 is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where we're up to when we just.
So, yeah, E3 is awful. Let's just skip E3 this year. We'll talk about games, and that's it.
Well, there's no games to talk about at E3. There's no point in us covering it.
No, exactly. I mean, we can mock it openly a little bit.
I mean, yeah. Do you really want Ego Raptors take on the current popular Xbox game?
I didn't know
That's
you
what this
were
is sounding like.
Yeah, apparently he's still a thing. He pops
He's
up
not the
every now
Ego
and again.
Raptor you remember.
Oh, he wasn't all that great before, though.
Wait, he's become a Twitch thought?
No, he's just got full woke paws. Oh, the dude is so woke, it's not funny. He's like apologizing for his old videos and crap.
Don't
You
ever
don't
do
ever
that.
apologize on the internet. Why would you do that? Like, as soon as, if you apologize for anything online, that's more or less like you holding up a sign saying, I'm red meat.
Yeah. You just
Yeah,
make yourself a target.
He got called out for being a hypocrite for going full cancel culture on somebody because they dropped the N-word, and people are like, dude, this is coming from you?
Yeah.
Like, it's better to be a bad person on the internet, to be thought of as a bad person, than to be thought of as a bad person who can be preyed upon. Because there's no going back to being a good person once you're thought of as a bad person. Nobody's ever done that before. Ever.
Yep. It never works. Alright, next bit of news. What do we got?
Let's see. I need to go back to the correct thingamabob. Let's see here.
Thingamabob? That's
Had the wrong tab open. Just noted quick, funny, not even newslet, just post I saw. Noted cat thrower and hyper Twitch thought Alinity gets her comeuppance when the cat bites back.
I'm just impressed by just how much skin that cat has managed to grab.
That
is a hell of a bite.
I've seen the footage. It's actually really funny because she's basically doing bad karaoke because Twitch thoughts don't have any talent. Why they? So they just do stupid crap like sleep on camera or sing badly.
Sell bathwater.
Which is not to say that there aren't women on Twitch who are talented. There are a few people who you see actually do showcase interesting talents on Twitch. Apparently there's one girl who does a show where she basically can listen to any song once and then can play it on her keyboard.
See, now that's a talent.
But regardless of that, the most of the Twitch thoughts, their primary talent is wearing a low cut top and no pants or whatever, and that's their entire shtick. And Alinity is one of those, and she sort of got thrust into the limelight, for people like us who don't give a toss about what goes on Twitch, because she was caught on camera picking up her cat and throwing it over her shoulder. And which people thought was a bit unsavory, but
Yes.
She protested that she couldn't possibly have done that because she's not strong enough.
But
despite the video of her doing it.
Video evidence. You did it on Twitch, you thought.
She's not on Twitch because she's clever.
Uh,
But yeah. I saw the footage of this, and the cat does not merely bite her on the arm. It then proceeds to pursue her around the room, constantly scratching and nipping at her. Like the cat is clearly thinking, "You have no talent. Get off the camera, honey."
Yeah.
Like that, and people say cats can't be a man's best friend.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
let's
that
face it.
cat patrolled her.
It's a cat. It could just sit in front of the camera and it would win. That's because internet.
Yeah, on the internet, cats always win when they're on.
Yeah, it's just a rule.
That's a huge chunk of skin. I posted in the live show chat. That cat got a mouthful.
That is one solid bite. That
Yeah,
cat
well, I
meant
mean,
business.
Judging by the fact that it was thrown over her shoulder in that other video, probably the cat's not treated all that well, except when she's in the mood.
Oh, I went to the Kiwi Farm Store, and that's how I heard about this. And there was a video of her drinking vodka, and with the vodka still in her mouth, blowing air while she held it on her tongue in her cat's face.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, I've seen that in the past.
Like, holy
Jeez.
crap, lady!
That came out around the time that was popularized around the time of her other indiscretion.
Which one?
But yeah,
seems
she
to have
basically she doesn't just blow air in it. She basically tries to spit vodka into the thing's mouth. So yeah, it's not the way you should be treating a pet. But I mean, she's got a room temperature IQ. Her only talent is selling her body, and she's not even good at that.
Yeah, and on top of that, she sounds like a rather nasty person. Like, I know dumb people, and they can be really, really nice.
The thing is that there aren't any Twitch slots who are nice. They are Twitch slots because their plan in life is to exploit stupid and thirsty men for money. That's their whole shtick.
Mhm.
That's their grand plan in life. That's not the product of a nice person. I don't think that any of them. There's no reason to believe in. Their entire thing is to try and tease stupid men into giving them money.
Don't get mad at e-thoughts, kids.
I don't know why anybody does. Like, it seems to be a huge industry for the headliners amongst these thoughts. But
I guarantee you, with a good enough torrent site, it'll be free the next day.
well, the thing is that it's not about the footage. I'm presuming that the case is that it's not about the footage. It's about the delusion that they try and cultivate. That they every single one of their watches is just like one dashing comment away from a deep and meaningful relationship with a thought.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're trying to cultivate. They're trying to that's why they interact, quote unquote, with the people in their chat to the extent that they do, is because they're trying to like they're accessible.
Yeah.
And
Good on you, cat.
apparently, there are some people that are dumb enough to fall for it, and not just a few. And some of them have money.
People, you have another head on top of your shoulder. You should use that one.
Yep. And in the meantime, let's all praise this cat.
Yeah, this cat's wonderful. Can we make this cat the official mascot of the Thought Patrol?
I
And
think
thought on it?
You know, that's probably already happened.
It's
I'm going to
probably
ask the
already
internet,
happened,
actually,
yeah.
while we look.
Yeah, so, this cat just is now the official mascot of the Thought Patrol as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That poor cat, though. That cat must have just finally snapped.
I
Because
think
she's
it did.
she's totally ignoring the dumb thing, and it's just giving her the death stare while she's doing her terrible karaoke. And it just decides, I'm done. And goes up and chokes her arm.
All right. Anything else, or shall we just call it a day before something else catches fire?
Yeah, I think that we have caused
boy.
we've caused depression for our sole listener.
And
So,
I now have Doggo. Hello, Doggo.
Why do you even shut the door? This never goes well for you.
No, it does not.
Yep.
Doggo has Doggo breath. Hello.
There's one more article, but if we have been going long and we have tech problems, but do not let me forget it for next week, because I do want to talk about this one.
This is about the
Alrighty.
unions again.
Yeah, I want to talk about this one.
All right.
But
It is pretty stupid.
because I hate unions. So remind me, and we'll get around to it next week.
I don't mind unions when they're doing what they're supposed to, but this union, yeah.
So you hate all unions then?
Yeah, okay, fair point. Anyway,
All right, folks. We will be back next week.
Doggo says
Do
hi.
you have?
Shut
Hi,
up,
doggo.
Doggo.
Do you have any closing comments other
No.
than the doggo?
Just shut up, Doggo. Doggo
We
is
salute
early.
you,
tiny cat thought patrol member.
Attack Cat Thought Patrol.
We gotta find a better name for that cat.
Yeah. Well, I'll think on it during the week.
Yep. So,
Thought Slayer.
no, that's too edgy.
Yeah, it
It needs
is.
to be funnier. All right, folks. Did Vol say anything?
No, I don't really have anything to say. I don't have the energy. I'm just hoping that the week to come will be less grueling than the one that just was.
All right. I think we're done, folks. We'll see you next week, an hour later for most of you in the Northern Hemisphere, because Daylight Savings Time. Don't let me forget. Both of you, middle of the week, try to remember to message me that Daylight Savings Time's happened.
It's like Friday or something, isn't it? I don't know what day it is for you guys.
I think it's already happened here.
In 3 hours, I'll time travel.
I have no idea when it's happening.
And by time travel, you
At
mean
all.
lie.
Yeah, I will time travel an hour into the future. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it goes the other way, obviously.
Yeah, screwing
So-
with the clock is not time travel.
Oh, what are you talking about? I mean, I can't just move the hands of the clock at work to 5 o'clock and be done?
I guess.
All right, folks. We'll see you all next week. Sayonara. Bye-bye.